Let's evaluate cosine of 15 degrees minus cosine of 75 degrees. To do so, what we're going to do is use a difference or sum or difference to product formula. So I've listed out the one we're going to use because we have cosine of something minus cosine of something. It's going to be this difference formula for cosine. So let's first identify, I'm going to use alpha is going to be 15 degrees and beta is going to be 75 degrees as we fill into this formula and then reduce down. So in filling in, I'm going to bring along that minus 2, part of the formula, multiplied by sine of, we can replace alpha with 15 degrees, plus beta, which is 75 degrees, all over 2, multiplied by sine of, again, alpha minus beta this time, so 15 degrees minus 75 degrees. And that's still going to be all over 2 on the inside of the sine function. Now we can do some reducing down. We can say, well, 15 degrees plus 75 degrees, we can combine those together. So I'm going to bring along that minus 2, our sine, and then work on combining these together. So 15 plus 75 is going to give us 90 degrees. Still over 2 because we haven't done anything with that yet. And then sine of 15 minus 75 is going to be negative 60 degrees. Still over 2. Then we can reduce a little bit further. We can say, well, 90 divided by 2 makes 45 degrees multiplied by sine of, this will reduce down to negative 30 degrees. Next up, I would probably like to get rid of this negative from the inside of our sine to help us evaluate this. So if I'm going to get rid of a negative from inside of a trig function, sine, cosine, or tangent, I'm going to refer back to our even odd identities. Going to write that off to the side so you can reference it. But to get rid of this negative, what we're going to need to do is make it a positive angle on the inside, but that's also going to bring a negative out in front. So I can rewrite this as negative 2, and we will reduce everything and evaluate everything completely in just a minute. But for the time being, just using this even odd identity, I'm going to put a negative out in front and say sine of positive 30 degrees on the inside for the time being. Now, what we can see next is hopefully this negative, visualize negative 1, multiplied by this negative out in front, because everything's being negative. Those will simplify down and make a positive, right? 2 negatives multiplied to make a positive. So now we're at 2 multiplied by sine of 45 degrees, which we could go ahead and evaluate. That's a nice angle. Hopefully we know that's square root of 2 over 2 can be input in where sine of 45 degrees is. Evaluate that. And then remember, we had already canceled out the negative here, so we can evaluate sine of 30 degrees, which is 1/2. All that remains is a little bit more simplifying down to do. So I'm going to visualize this as 2 over 1. So it looks like a fraction just like everything else. We'll multiply numerators together. So we get 2 square root of 2. And then we'll multiply denominators together. So 1 times 2 times 2 makes 4 for our denominator. We can simplify 2 over 4 is equivalent to 1/2. Or we can leave this as square root of 2 over 2. And that's the very best answer we can possibly get to in this situation. So I hope this helps as you're working on sum and difference formulas to product. Sum to product or difference to product formulas. Identify alpha and beta. That's huge as you get going. And whenever you're trying to get rid of a negative from inside a trig function, I always like using these even odd identities to help out. All right, hope this helps. Good luck.